Welcome to the College Investor Audio Show, where we talk about the biggest issues impacting millennial money, from student loan debt to side hustles to building wealth. We will show you how to get out of debt so that you can build real wealth for the future.
Hello there, and welcome to another College Investor Audio Show. So glad to have you a part of things. Now, okay, so does your knowledge of farming, maybe, if you're like me, start and end with Old MacDonald? That's basically, in a nutshell, all I know about farming. Or perhaps you live in an urban condo and work in a high-rise. If so, you may think that farmland investing is not for people like you. However, farmland investing offers a legitimate alternative investment asset class that could help you grow your wealth. But before you go looking for deals at the local county fair, you should, I don't know, why do you get a southern accent when you talk about the fair? I don't know. But you may want to consider how you can enlist experts to help you profit from farmland investing. It's pretty cool. So here's what you need to know about this new asset class. And by the way, full disclosure, this is all sponsored by Farm Together, which is an innovative way to actually invest in farmland and opening it up for a lot of people. And you can check out Farm Together at collegeinvestor.com. Okay. So is farmland really an investment? If you've driven through Nebraska, Iowa, the Dakotas, or any other big agricultural state, Indiana is one of them, you've seen miles and miles of farms, not to mention some underappreciated beauty. Chances are you've not seen very many for sale signs during your drive. So are these acres of fertile soil really available for investors? Well, the answer is surprisingly, yes, they are. In 1986, Warren Buffett famously purchased a 400-acre farm in Nebraska, and it grew in value despite several bad crop years. However, the asset class has typically been closed off to all but farmers, people in the agricultural field, and a few institutional investors like Buffett. However, companies like Farm Together are making it easier for everyday investors like you and me to buy farmland for investing in purposes. So, how does farmland compare to other types of real estate? Let's take a look at that. As an investment, farmland is best characterized as a type of real estate investment. Like traditional real estate, farmland can earn money in two ways. First, farmland can be leased to farmers who will use the land to grow crops. Investors can earn money from ongoing lease payments. Second, the underlying value of the land may increase over time. Investors may earn additional money if they choose to sell the land. As with real estate, the management of farmland can be very active or passive. Now, for example, if you personally own 200 acres in Iowa, you could use the land to grow your own crops. You could also rent that land to a corn farmer who would then use the land to grow crops. Finally, you could pay a management company to rent out the land for you. Historically, investors needed to be knowledgeable about farmland to handpick a good deal. Also, probably needed some specialized knowledge to manage the land appropriately. Today, though, that's starting to change. There are a few publicly traded farmland REITs, real estate investment trusts, that allow typical investors to buy shares of a farmland portfolio. There are also companies like Farm Together, which offer direct, passive ownership opportunities. Are there some risks? Yes, there are major risks associated with investing in farmland. Now, the first one is liquidity. If you own physical farmland, the land cannot easily be sold, except by enlisting the help of a broker. Farm Together and other private deal companies are similarly illiquid investments. The shares of the investment are generally liquid only once the company's exit strategy is confirmed. For example, it sells the farm. However, the income received from these farmlands is in the form of cash and is obviously very liquid. Publicly traded farmland ETFs get rid of the liquidity problem by being easy to buy and sell through online brokers. The next risk associated with farmland is a knowledge problem. Unless you know the asset class well, it can be tough to buy land at a good price. If you overpay, you may be stuck with an underperforming asset for a long time. And those who are closely connected to the agricultural sector may mitigate this risk by only buying specific land that meets their personal criteria. Generally, publicly traded ETFs get around this issue by having many buyers and sellers. In general, the imperfect knowledge of many buyers and sellers tends to lead to a reasonable price for the shares. Farm Together mitigates risks by partnering with agricultural industry experts and farmland management experts. By partnering, Farm Together gains an understanding of the myriad risks associated with agriculture, such as lease prices, crop types, water rights, and more, and can bake those costs into their deals. Since the company engages in deep underwriting and lots of due diligence, investors gain many of the advantages of expert insiders. So what role can farmland play in my portfolio? As with all alternative investments, including real estate, farmland should play the role of diversifier in your portfolio. Unless you're truly a farming insider, you don't want your entire net worth tied up in farmland. However, farmland can be an asset class that helps to smooth out volatility in performance. Unlike publicly traded REITs, which tend to have similar dips and spikes as stocks, the Farmland Index, NCR-EIF Farmland Index, tends to move differently than stocks. Additionally, farmland has historically yielded good returns. Between 2008 and 2018, for example, the S&P 500 returned a 13.1% annualized return. The Farmland Index returned 11.2% annualized returns during the same time period. When does it make sense to start investing in farmland? Unless you're a farmer looking to invest in your business, it probably doesn't make sense to buy a farm. However, a farmland investment could be a high-quality alternative investment in your portfolio. Once your investment portfolio starts to approach the mid-5 figures or low 6 figures, diversification becomes very important. At that point, you might want to consider your asset allocation strategy, including alternative investments. If it makes sense to add farmland to your portfolio, consider Farm Together for your first investment. It allows you to invest in direct farmland deals that are managed through a third party. You get to enjoy the advantages of expert agricultural investment knowledge without having to drive through all the cornfields to find the deals. Now, the company doesn't always have offerings available because deals must meet the company's strict guidelines. You will need to be an accredited investor to invest through Farm Together, and that means you need to have at least $1 million in net worth outside of your home, earn $300,000 as a married couple or $200,000 as an individual. If you don't meet those requirements, a farmland ETF could be a better option to get started in doing this. Hey, that's all we have for you today. I hope you learned something new about farmland that maybe you didn't consider. And you can share this with a friend, too. If you know somebody who's looking for some more options and diversification, go ahead and send this their way, too. We'd really appreciate it. If you want to find out more about Farm Together, we did an in-depth review on them as well. You can see that at thecollegeinvestor.com. Thanks again for stopping by, and we'll talk to you again very soon.